Hello, Dream Team. Welcome back to our podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, beautiful people, welcome to another exciting podcast of Here's a Thought with the Makhs. My name is Lerato Makheta.
I'm Petola Makheta. And guys, introducing our South African sign language interpreter, Calvin Tetan.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to have him here on our podcast week in and week out. Guys, thank you so much for your love. Thank you so much for the comments. Guys, we appreciate you so much. Please just remember that we are trying to get to 150,000 subscribers on YouTube by the 12th of September 2022. So go and tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell their brother, to tell their mother and their sister that, guys, the Makhs are in the building. Please go and subscribe. I mean, we try as much as possible to make sure that we bring you guys really great content. So it is definitely worth their while. Thank you for the love. Thank you to our OGs. If you haven't done so yet, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment below, turn on that notification to know every single time we upload a new installment.
Yeah, and guys, if you didn't know, you can catch up on the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Apple Podcast, and all other podcast platforms.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool.
Are you ready to get into this one?
Yes. What are we talking about today, boo?
Yo, babe, before I get into this one, I feel like my eyelash is coming off.
Hey, wena.
Is it coming off?
This happens, guys.
Guys, and you know this happens, ne? And then I feel like my eye is like lopsided. If you notice that happening, please just know that my eyelash is coming off or something is happening.
This is what you need to know, that it's my fault. Right? It's my fault. And then my wife goes, but baby, why didn't you tell me that my eyelash? I'm like, I didn't see. I'm looking at the people. I'm looking at our beautiful subscribers. I'm looking at everybody that is watching us right now. It's perfect. Okay. You're perfect.
Aww.
Yes.
Only sweetie. And you always catch me off guard. Yeah. Sweet husband.
But like, you're perfect.
So guys,
have you looked in the mirror lately?
Baby, why embarrassed? You're making me shy. Thank you, my love. So guys, today's conversation, we are discussing a very pertinent conversation. Yeah. And we are going to throw it out there as in a form of a question. Yeah. Do you elevate your partner? Yeah. Before we get into it, let's look at what elevation means.
For sure.
What does it mean to actually elevate? I've got it.
Oh. Do I have the phone?
I've got it over here.
What's happening? Yeah.
So, to elevate.
Halala. What's happening, Petola?
Oxford Dictionary explains elevate as to raise or lift to something to a higher position, to raise to a more important or impressive level. Let's discuss for 10 points. Yeah. So, babe, I'll start with you. Yeah. I like starting with Lerato, guys, because he's Mr. Wise Man Javalala. And I always draw inspiration from him.
She says this on camera. No, I'm joking. She says it off camera.
You like to say, hey, beautiful. I say wise, so balance.
I like to say what?
You like to say, oh, my beautiful wife. Yes. And I'm like my wise husband.
Oh, right? Stop it. I like it. Yeah.
So, babe, let's talk about this. Do you feel like I elevate you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I think so. I think that my wife elevates me. I think my wife is intentional about elevating me. And she's intentional about elevating me using her words specifically. Yeah. And so what I mean by that is my wife and I think, try to be intentional about affirmations. About affirming each other. And doesn't mean that we get it right all the time. No. Because sometimes when you need that pick me up is not when your partner actually, when you feel like you need it the most, that's sometimes not when your partner does it for you. But I think when I take a step back and I look at the nature of our relationship and I look at the temperature of our relationship, and it's easy to get stuck in a moment and say, well, in this moment I needed that, but sometimes when you take a step back and I look at the personality of our relationship, I definitely think that you are a big affirmer and you definitely elevate me.
Oh, I love that.
How about you?
So, babe, before I talk about us specifically, when we thought of the topic, I actually started thinking about the song Beyonce. Let me upgrade you.
Yeah.
And there's a lyric there, I can't sing it, but where I think it was Jay who was saying something like, I be the block or something.
Yeah.
And Beyonce's like, I be's the block. And Beyonce's like, well, you be's the block, I'm the street lights.
Yeah. For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was so like profound, right? Because I think when a lot of people come into relationships, sometimes they come thinking, I've got everything. I'm self-made, especially when you meet much older. We met very young.
Yeah.
And I think people might sort of misconstrue this, does your partner elevate you in terms of materialistic things? So I love what you say.
So as in like, do they upgrade you as opposed to elevate you?
Right?
Yeah.
Like elevate you in terms of now you can drive a better car or live in a better neighborhood or have better hair and whatever.
Yeah.
And I love what you said when you spoke about affirmation.
Yeah.
Right? And I appreciate that so much, because I believe that it sets the tone for healthy relationships where it's not just about the outside, but it's about, what we can do for each other internally.
Yeah.
So
and sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, my love. So I definitely think that I'm a better person being in this relationship. I definitely think that you've elevated me on so many levels, one of them being, guys, my English is so much better since I've been with this guy.
Funny story though, I used to annoy my wife. It used to annoy my wife because she was like, hey, principal.
Yeah, guys, my husband dreams in English.
She used to go, what's that word you just used? Huh? Yeah.
So he's very not finicky about the English language, but I think because Olorakas Koa, it's sort of is it your first language? Not really.
I love it when languages are spoken well.
Well, right?
It doesn't have to be English.
Yeah.
I love watching some South African series and you just hear the purity of the language and that makes me jealous.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like, wow, I wish I could speak like that. So it's the same with English.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, when we speak, let's speak. Now it's not to say, but no. Well, no, not really, because if you listen to my sister, or my older brother, oh my gosh! I mean, guys, there are levels to these things, All I'm saying is, I just like, I like the idea of just having a good command of a language.
Yeah. But I think that's just something very surfacey, something very light, something. Very light, right? But I think in terms of other things where I've taken a deeper look at myself and thought, sure, I'm a better person because of Lerato, is because of things like, you're very gracious. I always say, I think I've mentioned it so many times on our podcast and on our YouTube channel. I find that I'm hard on myself. I judge myself harshly, and sometimes I find that I can be judgmental, and that is not the spirit in which God, the spirit
with which God wants us to move.
With which, you see, guys.
No, don't do that now. Because now some English scholar is going to be like, well, technically the pronoun was supposed to come before
the spirit with which God wants us to move, right?
Yeah.
And I find that you are the least judgmental person I know. You accept people for who they are, flaws and all, and I feel like that's one big area in which I feel I've been elevated being in this relationship.
Thank you, baby. I just want to explain it because I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I think we had a brief conversation about it, which we're going to talk about in another installment. My firm belief is that you often treat people the way that you treat yourself.
Yeah.
If you've got the luxury of being judgmental to people, it's because you have this view of yourself that you are perfect. I am so clear about my imperfections that it's very difficult for me to look at somebody else and judge them and say, oh my gosh, how could you? As a matter of fact, the reason I know this is because I was working in a place, in a very toxic environment, and I was chatting to my best friend about it recently. I was working in a very toxic environment, and I realized how easy it is to judge something that you don't understand. So what I mean by that is there was certain behavior in that environment that I judged because I was like, I would never do that in a million years.
Yeah.
So even I'm guilty of being judgmental in my own degree, but I'm like, wow, man, like the fact that you went out of your way to disadvantage somebody else in order to propel yourself forward is never something that was in my psyche or my being. So it's easy for me to judge that behavior, right? But something that I have struggled with, I can look at somebody else and say, oh man, I empathize with that. I sympathize with that, you know, and
Okay, no, I get it. I get it. We squirreled a bit there.
Yes.
I was
It
like,
got deep really quickly.
Like, what is the
what are we
topic
talking about
of
again?
The conversation.
Sorry, guys.
Come back, guys.
Sorry. Yeah.
Come back to us.
Yeah.
Does your partner elevate you?
Yeah.
So, babe, let's maybe give a more practical example of how people can elevate their partners. You know, you might find someone thinking, but how do I do that? You know, we hear that it's lifting someone up, not obviously bringing them down. What are the practical reasons? What are the practical ways in which you can do that?
Yeah.
Number one, guys, elevate your partner in your mind. How do you do
Very
that?
important.
The way you think towards your partner, the way you think about your partner. Do you think about your partner in a godly way, or are you harboring feelings of resentment? And when you think about your partner, it's like, oh ho, let's come mona aliso, or oh ho, mone obiang. You know, how you think about your partner is how you are going to be towards them. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
Yeah.
We know that.
100%. I was reading a column day before yesterday on depression, and they were speaking about how you should get into the practice of writing things that you're grateful for in your life every day.
Yeah.
That could be a practical way of starting to be intentional about changing your mind.
Yeah.
Because maybe you don't have the greatest thoughts towards your partner.
Yeah.
Actually, all of us at some point don't have the greatest thoughts about our partner. You know, we often laugh and, you know, sometimes you could feel like, sis!
Yeah.
You know, this one is, you know, or
yeah,
you know what I mean, and or that particular day, you know, they're not very well groomed, or they happen to gain a little bit of weight, which is beyond your personal preference, or you know what I mean. It could be anything, but perspective is so important. And what writing things down, being intentional about writing things down that you are grateful for when it comes to your partner is going to change your mind about your partner. And when you change your mind, it's going to inform, like you said, how you act towards your partner. So that's very, very important.
And I love what you're saying, babe, because in terms of, you know, your partner could do 100 good things and just do one thing, you know, that is just off, and you're just thinking, this one, he never gets anything right, which is not right, right? He's got 99 other things right, and then he just offlopile on this one. So it's very important to highlight those good things that your partner does, so that when your partner doesn't live up to expectations, then you don't write them off. You know, so it's not even about, sometimes, I mean, I used to do that. I'm guilty of that. You know, I remember I would fall apart if Lerato would do something that would disappoint me, overlooking all the other good things that he's done over the years or over the months.
And it's important as well, It's important as well to also have a lot of, be gracious to yourself as well. All right. And what I mean by that is, it's a human behavior to overlook the 8 things, the 8 good things that your partner does, and dwell on the 2 things, the 2 negative things that your partner does. Why? Because this is how we treat ourselves, isn't it? You and I were chatting just the other day about the 10,000 positive comments that we have in our channel, but we'll only have a discussion about the 2 negative ones.
Yeah.
It's very human behavior. It's kind of how we're wired, and we almost have to reprogram our mind. So we're not saying this because we get it right all the time.
Yeah.
But we're saying it because we've seen how it has benefited us, and the nature of our relationship in just being intentional about changing our minds.
Yeah, I remember when I was praying beginning of the year. I think I told you we were in Orchards, and I said, you know, babe, I made a prayer this morning to say, Lord, please teach me to love my husband the way you love him. Can you imagine how sweet and how just beautiful it would be if we loved each other the way God loves us? You know, flaws and all, accepting of one another, knowing that re tlo flopa gape in the future, but we still choose one another.
Yeah, and what makes that hard, to your earlier point, is disappointment. You know, that's what it is. Like, you know, this idea that God is not disappointed in us.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And disappointment really comes from expectation. You know, you've got expectation, and God says, come as you are.
Sure.
You know? Yeah. And we've got terms and conditions.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as humans, we really struggle with unconditional love.
Yeah.
We really struggle with unconditional love.
Us too.
Yeah.
Us too.
That's what I said, as humans.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
Number 2, guys, elevate your partner in front of them. Because we've seen it happen a lot, right? Where you tell everyone just how amazing your partner is.
Good point.
Or you think about your partner, about how amazing they are. But often when you speak to your partner, you are critical, you are judgmental, and you never elevate them in front of them.
They need to know,
They
guys.
need to know. Let them know.
They need to know,
Yeah.
you know, and we can get caught in this thing of, don't you know how proud I am of you? Well, no, I don't, because you never tell me.
Yeah.
Don't you know how much I revere you? No. I don't know. Do you know how smart you are? No, I don't know, because you never tell me.
Sure.
Let's normalize telling our partners, verbalize it. In the moment, every single opportunity that you have, when you've got that warm, fuzzy feeling, open your mouth and tell them, I appreciate you. I love you. You are smart. You are gorgeous. You have such a good heart. You know, because then when the criticism comes, I can appreciate where that's coming from. I can appreciate that. I know that you see me, and what you are explaining to me right now is as a result of how you view me, and you feel like I'm missing the mark. You know, you've put me on such a pedestal, and then I can understand that, oh no, this is because you've elevated me to a place in your mind, and when I don't meet that expectation of how wonderfully you see me, you're disappointed.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times people are nervous to praise their partners in front of them because they think they might drop the ball or be big-headed. You know, I remember I read a tweet this one time, and this girl was like, yo, you know what? The biggest mistake you can ever do is praise a guy, because bazokuhlaza the next day. You know, so I think a lot of people also hold back just in terms of affirming their partners because they think that they might give them a big head, which is flawed, right? And I've also seen how sometimes partners sort of what's the word? They degrade their partners in front of them to want to get a different behavior from them. So for example, I'll give an example. So let's say you feel like your partner is not maybe cooking enough in the house or cleaning enough in the house. Instead of communicating those things, they'll come up with, you know, a negative way of communicating it to say, Marawena, you're lazy. No, you're not lazy. You just feel like at that point your partner's not living up to your expectations. You know, maybe you feel like your partner could do better in the area of of taking care of themselves. You know, if you feel like they could lose weight or eat better, you know, you
So
might
you say you're fat.
Yeah, you know, that's not gonna get them to be better.
Yeah.
If anything, that is going to give them a low self-esteem. That is going to discourage them even more. That could even make them feel depressed. You know, I'm very what's the word, baby? Yo, why English in Tabela today? I'm very jealous of how we make each other feel, rather how we protect our mental health. You know, and I always say that when you elevate your partner with your words and how you affirm them, you are protecting their mental health. And someone who has a strong mental health can only bring their best to the relationship.
For sure, because it has to come from the inside.
Yeah.
You know, any goal that you've got, anything that you want to achieve in life, they always speak about the mind, right? They always speak about focus. They always speak about discipline. They always speak about and those are qualities that you have, that you need to have on the inside of you in order to affect the changes that you want on the outside. So even for your partner, an encouragement goes a long way as opposed to a criticism. You know, and once again, I haven't always gotten that right. You know, but I've learned now that if something that you want to do comes from a feel-good place, it has a greater chance of lasting a longer time, as opposed to as opposed to that feeling coming from a place of now I'm looking forward as opposed to that emotion coming from a place of because you feel demeaned. You know, because you feel demeaned and you're discouraged and you're, you know.
Demeaning someone and putting them down will never help you get the best out of them. Never, ever, ever, ever.
And you might run the risk where your partner is now doing it to appease you and they're not doing it for themselves. And that is not sustainable. When I want to lead a good life and I want to be a good man and I want to be healthy and I want to eat well and I want to work out or whatever, it has to be for me. It has to be for me. It can't just be because my wife is not. No, it's self-love.
No, I love that. Third point, guys. Third and final point. Elevate your partner in front of others. It also
love out loud.
It also doesn't help you elevating them in your mind, elevating them in front of them. But when you go out there, you are singing a different tune. Where you're always running to your family when you have problems and telling them how you know how flawed your partner is or what your partner did wrong. That doesn't help the situation. Very, very, very important. Something that has been spoken about so much, again, is that when you and your partner are cool after the fact, the people that you were speaking to are not going to forget. And you know,
and then you expect them to be cool. Like, oh, but we're cool now. Why aren't you cool? No, because they hold you in a special place in their hearts and they don't want to see anything wrong, you know what I mean? And you have communicated to them that my partner is the source of my depression. You know, and then you just want them to get over it. No, it doesn't work like that. So just make sure that you are very careful about how you present your partner in public and love them out loud. We spoke in an installment about that. Love your partner out loud. Do not cheat your partner of affection, of love, especially out in the open. Secondly, don't do it out in the open and not do it at home.
And baby, I love what you're saying about, you know, guys, your family doesn't know your partner. Your family doesn't know your partner. So what they know about your partner is what you communicate to them. Right? And chances are they will run with it. Right? And if you have kids in the house, I think it might also be beneficial to also elevate your partner in front of your kids. You know, to say, Hakwe, isn't that amazing? Doesn't Papa look good today? Or isn't it, what Papa did yesterday with Christmas? We spoke about Lerato did this amazing thing with he saved Christmas literally because we didn't have a plan for Christmas.
Yeah.
He went out
like every December.
Right? And he got all these great things for the kids. And I remember how when the next day we were talking about it and I was saying to Hakwe.
Really? You didn't tell me that.
And I was saying to Hakwe, I was like, wow, Hakwe, Papa's so amazing. What he did was so thoughtful, so considerate. So what that also does is that not only is it giving, your kids a beautiful picture of who their father is, but it also gives them an expectancy of what marriage can look like, of what partnership can look like, that, it's beautiful there. The future is bright, So I strongly believe in elevating your partner in front of your kids and family and your friends as well. What your friends know of your partner is as a result of what you tell your friends. And they will respect him. If you are constantly complaining about your partner doing this, or your partner's not bringing in enough money, or your partner is doing 1, 2, and 3, yes, fine. We're not saying that cover your partner's, we've spoken about this, cover your partner's nakedness to your own detriment. Right? Yeah. We spoke about this. If your partner is being abusive, 1, 2, and 3, do speak to someone. Do tell someone. Yeah. But if you feel like your partner is not pulling up their socks in one area in the household, there's no need to go out there and tarnish their name. Speak about it in the home and cover your partner's nakedness.
Yeah, because your partner's nakedness is your nakedness.
Yeah.
And this is the part that we don't get, right? Very often, that when you go out and you expose your partner for things really that can be fixed. I'm not talking about being in an abusive relationship, right? Yeah. But I'm talking about something that really can be fixed. That is unfortunately a reflection on you as well. And you're not going to like it tomorrow when your friends don't respect your man. Your father doesn't respect your man. Your mother doesn't respect your man. Your community, they're just like, and they don't forget, eh?
Yeah.
So 20 years down the line, they're going to be like, oh, Ole, that one that did this and that, and you're in your feelings now, and you're feeling like, guys, come on, can we get over that? That was so long ago. And it's like, no, but you are the one that planted that seed. So be careful about where you plant that seed, and make sure that the seeds that you plant are good seeds into your relationship. This is not, I love this thinking that life is like rowing a boat upstream. You need to constantly be working. For as long as you're stagnant, you're moving backwards.
Yeah. So guys, the gist of this conversation is that be in a relationship that edifies you, and be in a relationship where you can edify someone. I remember when we got married, we had a verse. Our verse for our wedding was, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. Right? I strongly believe that marriage is really was designed to make us better people. Yeah. So, and I mean, in terms of iron sharpening iron, you might find that sometimes your partner challenges you in another area, or questions you, or try to motivate you. That's how we sharpen one another. So I think also, let's not be defensive, because sometimes we also can't. I feel like we become a blockage in terms of our partners trying to elevate us, because we are always sometimes on a defense. When your partner asks you a question sincerely about a business that you're going into, then you're just like, or if your partner asks you, challenges you in one area, it's not because your partner hates you, but it's because your partner wants you to be the best version of yourself. Yeah. That's
a great point. I love it. So love your partners, guys. Love your partner.
Babies, yesterday you said something. You said something about... I
know what you're going to say, but ask the question.
Oh, what am I going to say?
No, ask the question.
No, you spoke about, our partners aren't trying to get us. But you phrased it so nicely.
Of course I did.
And I feel like it speaks to what we're talking about right now.
Yeah. I knew that's where you were going with your last point. Then I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So
as the spirit leads, Baba. As the spirit leads.
All right. So I saw a title. I didn't actually watch the video, but the title was written, "Why You Will Marry the Wrong Person." Okay. And I found it so fascinating. And then I just created my own narrative. I just saw this title and I was like, I could create like a whole series about this. Because in marriage, you're going to experience a lot of offense. Okay. And I was basically speaking to this friend of mine about how if we can get over offense and we can fix our perspective, then we would be able to put things in their place. So a prophet is without witness in their hometown. All right.
Okay.
Meaning you could be like a superhero out there, and you could be doing great escapades, and you are lauded all over, and you're in articles and whatever, and at your corporate job and whatever. And then when you get home, even with your spouse, it's just like, not here, Baba. Here you are my husband, you are my wife. You're not that person out there. And so often we can get offended by that. Because I like to, my friends call me and they're like, they want perspective, they want wisdom, they want, you know what I mean? And this, that. Sometimes when I come to my wife and I say to her, hey man, have you thought about this? And she's like, oh, just wait.
I'm like,
sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, you know what I mean?
Like the other day.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
WhatsApped me and I was like rolling my eyes.
Yeah, you know, you understand what I'm saying? And then I went into this example. I said, you know, when you are pitching something either to your boss or to an organization, and you're trying to get funding, or you're trying to do, what are you going to do? You're going to go to your laptop, you're going to do your research, you're going to compile all your data, you're going to put it in a PowerPoint presentation, you're going to check the formatting, you're going to check if the colors are right, am I in alignment with the CI, you know, with the corporate identity of the company, blah 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 blah, and you come out of that presentation knowing that you might get a yes, no, or a maybe. We don't do the same with our spouses. We take them for granted. So what we do is, now I want to make this move, and I come to my wife and I'm like, hey, babe, listen, this is what I was thinking. I want to do this, that, right? I haven't developed the thought. I haven't interrogated the data. I haven't done what I would do when I go to my boss. So when my wife responds and it's very lackluster, then I feel
like
offended. I feel criticized. I'm like, no, but why are you criticizing me? No, but she's not wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Because what I am not doing is treating her with the same level of respect, dignity, and reverence that I do outside the home. You know, so what I need to do is, if I want to get anything passed within the home and I need to bring her on board, I must go away. I need to do my research. I need to compile the data, and I need to sell it to her. I need to romance her. I need to take her out to dinner. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's what we do, right? You want to get a business deal, that's what you do. Yeah. You take your clients out, you buy them drinks, So anyway, that's what I was explaining to you the other day.
Yes, guys. So guys,
that was not the short way.
Upgrade,
because there was no short way.
Upgrade your partner. But even you will get the best out of them.
I'm so sorry, but even that, guys, is in my mind. Essentially, what I'm saying is, I need to elevate my partner.
I love that.
And feel like, I'm the man of the house. I'm going to, and this is the reason why my wife, in retrospect now, my wife was always like, I want you to lead me. And then whenever I did, I would get pushback. And the revelation now is, oh no, but leading also means applying yourself to the person that you're leading, selling the dream, you know, where she's a more than willing participant to follow and say, because the Bible says, write your vision and make it plain that anybody who runs past, who sees it, will understand it. Right? So I need to write it down. I need for her to see it. I need to explain it. I need to sell it so that, and that is elevating her position in my life. I'm not saying, you're just my wife. No, you are my wife.
I love that, baby. And I mean, without dragging it, this will be my closing remark. I think what we also miss as humans in relationships, whether be it in marriage or at the workplace, I think we forget, what Jesus was. Jesus practiced servant leadership. And we just want to shine all the time, but we forget to be servants, to serve one another in order to elevate others,
For sure.
we also forget that it's really not always about us. We forget that. So I think, remember, guys, in elevating your partner, remember to serve them, remember to affirm them, remember to love them. That's how you elevate your partner.
Thank you for a great conversation.
Yeah, and
all the time. You're amazing.
You're incredible.
I just thought I would elevate you quickly.
And this was another riveting installment of Here's a Thought with the Makhs.
One time, too real.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Until next time. Peace and blessings, people.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you.